Busy show here on Verts as teams are gearing up for a roster cutdown day tomorrow. Terry McLaurin gets his deal done with Washington. We'll break that down. Could Trey Hendrickson be next? As there's a new report out there on his situation with the Bengals. And a few cuts I just want to dive into across the NFL. A couple of names that come to mind on the early cuts that have been reported. All right, my name is Harrison Graham. This is Verts. Busy NFL news day. Let's talk about Terry McLaurin as he signs his extension. I always felt confident this deal would get done. 3 years, $96 million. He gets a $30 million signing bonus for 2025. We don't know the total guarantees, so I think that's where you can really determine who ended up winning this stalemate, Washington or McLaurin. I think on an average annual value basis, I think it's pretty fair, right? Comes in sixth highest paid in the NFL on average annual value, right there with A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, just under DK Metcalf. That was a contract that he was kind of getting compared to, and him and his agent were looking for. DK got $60 million in guarantees, so we'll see if McLaurin topped that number again. He got a $30 million signing bonus for this year, so gets a lot up front. Maybe that was part of the compromise to get a lot of money in 2025. This is just a no-brainer. You know, Terry McLaurin is not like a peak Tyreek Hill or something like that, but he's one of the better receivers in the league. And as I've stated for months now, you just can't afford to mess around here if you're Washington. And if you're the Commanders too, 3-year deal, you're not tied to him super long term. It's probably more like a 2+1. I would guess between 60 and 65 million guaranteed. You could get out of it in the third year if you wanted to. Now you're full steam ahead. Get ready for week 1. Get some reps built in with him and Jaden Daniels. Jaden, in an interview with Kay Adams last week, was very confident that this would get done. So you could kind of feel the momentum toward this thing. And again, from Washington's standpoint, it just never made sense to not find a way to get across the finish line here, because you've got this momentum. You've got this optimism as a franchise that you've lacked for decades. Get your number one locked in for your quarterback and full steam ahead. Now Deebo Samuel slides into his kind of joker secondary weapon role. I think that's a very, very good thing for everyone involved. All right, guys, the support for Verts recently has been awesome. Asking for a little more, though. We are 58 subs away from our next milestone of 11,000 subscribers. We're reacting to all the news out there, rumors, trade buzz, and much more. We're going to have a couple college football videos this week as well, so be on the lookout for that here on the channel. All you got to do is subscribe. Okay, Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals and Hendrickson, according to Jordan Schultz, have restarted contract talks, and I think we're going down an interesting avenue here if Schultz's reporting is accurate. Here's what he had to say on Twitter. He said they've restarted talks on a new deal for 2025. I think that's a key part of this. My understanding is the two sides have been exploring a more, quote, unique avenue to get something done, giving Hendrickson more money this season while still letting his contract expire after the year has been discussed. More work to do, but there's cautious optimism, a source said. Now, coming up next, I'm going to get into my theory on where this could be headed and what is likely the result here between Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals. But first, do want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Prize Picks, the best, in my opinion, the only daily fantasy sports app worth playing in 2025 is Prize Picks. Sign up at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Football is back as the real opening weekend of college football is here. Big boys will get going soon as well, so plenty of lineups to be played with them pretty soon. It's very easy to play Prize Picks, as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. That's right, folks. Turn $10 into $20,000. All eyes are on Texas, Ohio State, and I like Arch Manning to reach the end zone on a rushing score, so I'm taking more on half a rushing/receiving touchdown. That's a demon pick, which are tougher to hit, but increases the payout if it does. I paired that with Garrett Nussmeier, less on his 279.5 passing yards against Clemson. That's a stout defense for Clemson. 279.5 is a big number, so I took the less there. $20 entry to win 90 on this two-player lineup gets boosted with that demon pick from Arch. Get started with Prize Picks today. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Prize Picks. Run your game. Check the link on screen, prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, my theory is this. I think we're going down the Chris Jones path, which will explain what happened there here in a second. But I think Hendrickson gets a pay raise this year. Right now, he's set to make $16 million, maybe doubles it, 32, fully guaranteed. And he agrees to that without long-term security by being able to hit free agency next year, and the Bengals can't franchise tag him. Now, that does not mean he may not end up re-signing there after the season, but it gives him the flexibility to leave on his own terms if he wants to. Chiefs and Chris Jones did something similar a couple years ago. Remember, he sat out the opener. They lost to Detroit, and the Chiefs were like, okay, we really need this guy, and they gave him like $30 million that year when he was set to make like 20 or something. They ended up re-signing him after the year anyway, but he got the flexibility to get more money in the short term and to hit the open market if he wanted to. Now, I can't remember if there was a clause in that agreement that allowed him to avoid a potential franchise tag, but if I'm Hendrickson, if I'm going to agree to this, I want that clause in there. Like, hey, you are not allowed to franchise tag me next offseason. If I don't want to be here next year, I'm not going to be here. So we'll see if that ends up happening. The Bengals have over $27 million in cap space, and with Hendrickson set to make $16 million, cap hit of $18 million, they can give him 30 plus easily. If they give him 15 of that 27, he makes over $30 million this year, make it fully guaranteed, make him happy for this year. He probably wouldn't be super pumped overall considering he wanted the long-term guarantees, but it appears he could be blinking here, and he might say, you know what, I'm not going to risk skipping games and what that could mean for even at least my short-term security. So if I get over $30 million guaranteed this year, I'll just take it, get that clause in the contract, and if I ball out this year, I could still get a good contract next year. Now, the risk, of course, from his standpoint is, what if he has a down year? Well, he'll turn 31 next year. Let's say he has like an 8-sack season. He's not getting $30+ million per year from a new team on a new contract next year. So that's the downside of this from Trey Hendrickson. But if he gets the short-term guarantees of over $30 million and is confident in himself, back-to-back 17.5-sack seasons, if he has 13, 14+, he'll still get a lot of money on a long-term deal next year, whether it's from Cincinnati or someone else. So that's my theory. I think that's where this is heading for him. I think ultimately he's deciding he'd rather play than not, and I would imagine something gets done this week. Will Trey Hendrickson play week 1? I think he's going to. Type P for play, W for won't. I think he's going to bite the bullet and take this pay raise for 2025. Okay, let's get to a few notable roster cuts before we get out of here as they're starting to fly in across the league. Kyle McCord, an intriguing prospect out of Syracuse, the quarterback, got drafted in the 6th round by the Eagles. He has been waived. We knew this was coming after the Eagles QB moves yesterday, but it was a rough go for McCord. 24 of 56 in the preseason. Didn't even hit 200 passing yards, had a couple of picks with just 1 touchdown, QB rating of 43.1. He was just abysmal. He started and played, I think, the entire final Eagles preseason game, went 15 of 34, just did not look comfortable at all. And that was a big reason why Philadelphia traded for Sam Howell, because Tanner McKee has a thumb injury and he may not be ready for week 1, which, remember, is a week from Thursday. We're 10 days away from the opener, folks. And they could not afford to go into week 1 with Kyle McCord as the backup if McKee isn't ready to go. So they traded for Howell. He's their QB3 and the short-term QB2. Kyle McCord has been cut. We'll see if another team claims him and puts him on their 53. If not, I would imagine Philly keeps him on the practice squad, but not a good preseason for Kyle McCord. A few other notable cuts. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the Eagles quarterback as well, was cut. Remember, he was traded to Philly in that Kenny Pickett late-round pick swap with Cleveland. Cam Akers, he's been released. He's a veteran, so he can sign anytime. Kenyon Green as well. That was kind of an L for Philly with that trade for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It sounds like they wanted C.J. Gardner-Johnson out of the building regardless, so they kind of just took a chance on Green in that trade. Did not work out. He didn't make the team. Anthony Walker, veteran linebacker, who's kind of a plug-and-play LB2, LB3. I'll be curious to see where he lands. And then Brett Rippon with the Vikings maneuvers as well. They traded out Sam Howell. They signed Carson Wentz. They really like Max Brosmer, the UDFA out of Minnesota. So Instead of keeping Rippon as the 3, they're going with Brosmer as the 3, and of course Wentz is the backup. So a few quarterbacks becoming available. Speaking of which, the Las Vegas Raiders are shopping for a quarterback. This was reported, and then Pete Carroll confirmed it. Aiden O'Connell is set to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured wrist. So right now they have Geno Smith and I think his name's Cam Miller, UDFA out of I think like South Dakota or something. I forget where he played college ball, but he's very developmental. He's not ready to be a backup. Do you bring in a DTR because Chip Kelly coached him in college? Be pretty underwhelming when he's had to play. He has not played well. I think of a guy like Skylar Thompson with Pittsburgh. They could cut him. He had a strong preseason. He's got some experience. We'll see if they sign a veteran like C.J. Beathard or something, someone who's still out there like that. But you're not going to find high-end QB2s very often this time of year. The last good one was Carson Wentz, and he just got picked up by Minnesota. So kind of thin pickings. Maybe you convince Ryan Tannehill to come out of retirement, but even if so, didn't play last year. Like you're going to sign him 10 days before the season, expect him to be a high-level backup. That's probably a tough sell. So not a great spot for Vegas if Geno Smith were to go down. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of For Verts. Cuts continuing to fly in. If there's some big ones, we will hit you guys with the video. We'll have some kind of video tomorrow as well after all the cuts go down, so be on the lookout for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.